All right.
Dude, there's a solid 50-50 chance that a cop comes over. There's two guys in a lighted car on Irving.
Oh, yeah, we are lit up like the 4th of July.
Casually drinking.
And we'll talk about this in a second.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
That's entrepreneur/author, Marcus Sakey, TV host. He's done lots of stuff. We're going to talk to him in a second. This is Car Con Carne. We're on Irving Park Road in front of Ritual Zero Proof HQ. Ritual Zero Proof whiskey, zero proof gin. What did you make us?
What you have there is zero proof old fashioned.
Nice. Nice. You got the cubes. You get the good cubes, too.
We got the good cubes. That one is made with a mixer from our friends at Bittermilk, which make prepackaged mixers, but it works just fine with simple syrup and bitters.
There's a bite.
There's a bite? Well, without a bite, you got fruit juice. I mean, that's...
All right, well, we'll talk about this. I'm drinking zero proof whiskey on Irving Park Road. Car Con Carne is sponsored by C&H Financial Services. I was talking to my friends at C&H just over the weekend. It is amazing to me. Restaurants, you can eliminate 100% of the fees from credit cards with C&H Financial Services. It's amazing. If you're tired of all your profits going toward paying expensive fees every time your customers pay with credit or debit card, this is the solution. C&H Financial Services, the fastest growing financial services company in Illinois, as recognized by Inc. Magazine. Inc. Magazine, Marcus.
How do you argue?
And their patented technology allows you to eliminate 100% of the fees. Noted. That's right, 100% of the fees. C&H will also upgrade your business to the industry's leading point-of-sale system to streamline every aspect of your business for no cost. Visit freeprocessingnow.com or call 855-600-2437, extension 999, and start saving money today. Are you ready to do this? We're already doing it.
I think we're in.
And you've got tonic water, so we can do gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic to back it up, yep.
So Ritual is new. Like, you just launched this product line in September?
Yep. Yeah. You know that scene in Christmas Vacation where he lubes up the sled before he takes down?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's been Ritual.
Well, this has been, you haven't had time to think. It doesn't seem. I discovered you, I guess, relatively late. If you launched in September, I subscribed to Bespoke Box.
Yeah.
And I got their mailing.
Bespoke's been great.
First day of January. I'm like, what is this? Okay, Dry January, Ritual. I see they have this set, which is, they show the whiskey and the gin and mixers and stuff. I'm like, what is Ritual? So I started Googling you. I'm like, holy shit, it's a Chicago company.
Right around the corner from you.
It's Marcus Sakey.
Yeah.
Blew my mind that this was something born in Chicago. Then I started digging deeper. I'm like, oh my God, it's at my neighborhood Binny's. The Chicago Tribune wrote about it. Like, this has been just balls to the wall nonstop.
It has been absolutely on fire in the best way. So came on market in September. Obviously, there was a long period of development before that. Ritual started in my kitchen. I'm a pretty passionate chef, and I took a conscious break from alcohol, not because I don't like it, but because I love it.
That's why most people actually.
That's why most people do,
break.
and I'm of the mindset that if I take a conscious break, that means I don't have to stop doing it, as opposed to, I've hit a place where the rules say I must stop. So I took a conscious break, and I realized I was just, more than anything, I was missing the ritual of it.
I love the name because it makes so much sense to me.
Thank you. That's it. I mean, it's like, it's the making of a drink. It's the sitting down with a book. It's the pouring something while you cook. It's the dinner party.
Drinking in the glass.
It's the good glass and the ice that clinks against the side of it. That's a good half of
this
what
is delicious.
It's about. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to hear that.
It does taste like whiskey. Now, you're not supposed to drink this neat, right? This is...
Oh, no, you absolutely... Look, I like it neat. The way we say it is much like its counterpart. Neat is an acquired taste.
Okay.
It took me years to realize how much I liked whiskey neat. The first time I tasted whiskey neat, I howled like a cat. And who didn't out there, right? I mean, nobody's like, oh, that's home. It becomes home.
Someone just messaged on the Facebook live stream, pace yourself, James. I'm good. Cheers.
There's no need.
Just going to pound this shit here on Irving Park Road.
Bang it out, man. I got another bottle in there. I mean,
so you were on a break with whiskey, and you just... Was it an idea, I just want to create this for my own enjoyment, or this is a business model?
No, it was for my enjoyment. I like making things. I'm a novelist.
You're a creative type.
I'm a cook. I made the conference table in our place in there. I made that. I like making things. So
now, traditionally, creative types like that make terrible businessmen.
Yes. Well, happily, I have partners. It's always a good thing.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just,
I'm not saying I'm not, James. I may well be. No, it's great. It was founded with myself, my wife, and one of my best friends, our best friends, a guy named David Crouch, who's a natural foods entrepreneur. And all three of us have been friends for way longer than the business, and we'd lay in traffic for each other. So it's been a great start. And we officially launched in September, but between my initial idea and September came 500 iterations of the recipes.
Oh, sure.
Literally 500 with more than 500.
Because people, I feel like with a non-alcoholic, a zero-proof gin or a zero-proof whiskey, people will try it, but they're going to look for problems with it. They're going to look to be critical before they actually get to enjoying it.
And I don't blame them. I get it. And the way we look at it, I like to liken it to a veggie burger, right? It's not a cow. There is no veggie burger in the world that will fool you that it's cow.
Right.
That's fine. There's
That's
still
a great comparison.
Plenty of opportunities where a veggie burger is a useful choice, the right choice, the choice you want to make. And that's where we are.
On that note, the quinoa cowboy veggie burger from Trader Joe's, delightful. Sorry,
I haven't tried that one.
Yeah, it's delightful.
No, I like the little product placement there, though. That was good.
Just saying.
James makes a quarter on every quinoa cowboy.
Hey, dude. Cheers, Trader Joe's. So you were talking about like 500 different iterations to get it right.
Yeah.
How do you? It seems like whenever you create something, whether you're writing a book or doing anything, you have to know when to stop, because you could probably just keep on obsessing and changing and tweaking things forever. You have to kind of know when you're at the point of diminishing returns.
Yeah, well, and that's a tricky one, and that is a good one for having partners, for having other viewpoints on. But it frankly got to a place. It started in my kitchen. Quickly, we realized we needed a lot more expertise. Moved on to working with some of the best distillers and flavorists in the world, like just flat out, literally in the world, and went through hundreds of iterations with them. And there comes a point where you can feel the returns are diminishing. Mm-hmm. You can feel the curve leveling out, and we just knew it was good. I mean, it had a taste and a nose and a burn that, while not exactly the same, it fooled you. It did what you needed.
It falls in line with the ritual of drinking a whiskey drink. I like that burn.
The burn is necessary. The burn, just speaking from mixological point of view, the burn is what makes it into a cocktail. That is the spine of the drink. That's why drinks can be sweet, they can be sour, they can be bubbly, but they all have that spine. And when you lose that spine, that's when you know you've just been given a glass of soda water or a badly made cocktail.
All right, so what is in here? We're drinking the whiskey right now. We're drinking whiskey old fashions that you just whipped up at Ritual HQ.
I did.
I mean, I'm sure it's like a special proprietary blend of herbs and spices like the Colonel makes, but...
Almost exactly like the Colonel's, yes.
If you like fried chicken, you're going to like Ritual Zero-Proof whiskey.
That's actually I like that tagline. Who doesn't like fried chicken?
Exactly.
The flavoring is all natural. Everything is all natural botanical flavors. There are preservatives in it so that it can sit on your shelf the same as any other liquor, but other than that, it's entirely all natural. And what we do is, it's sort of like cooking, right? It's not whiskey with the whiskey removed. Instead, it's building up towards the notion of whiskey in the way that cooking is. You take the finest ingredients and you blend them with art and care. So in this, we've got caramel and raisin and sugar floss and smoke and mesquite. We've got a number of other things. And then most important is the elements that make up the burn, which is... that was the hardest part of the recipe to crack by far, because it's easy to make something spicy, and I love spicy. Spicy makes me happy, but whiskey doesn't taste spicy, and we can't replicate the exact effect of ethanol on your tongue. But we could, with a really long development process, find a way to fool your tongue. So there are chilies in it, a couple of different chilies, but then there are things to counteract the chilies. There's spearmint and peppermint that cut it some. There's menthol. You've got things like green peppercorns for a really fresh bite. You've got things like jambu to add a little bit of tingle, which just takes the mouth for a ride. The goal, the way we always imagined it, is our watchword is more. Right, just more in the glass, more taste, and that translates into the whole use, like more life, more laughter, staying up later, hanging out with your friends, having another drink. Everyone who works here is a drinker. It's not about getting rid of alcohol. We think of Ritual as the perfect third drink, right?
I get that. Like, okay, I got to go home at some point.
But this way, not right now.
Yeah, I can still be social.
You can hang out another hour or 2 hours, engage in the ritual, be strong and sober and good to go when the time comes. And it's nice, like a lot of people are really self-conscious about an empty glass or a glass of soda water. For me, it's not self-consciousness, it's that soda water sucks. It's like, that's a lame... I'm a grown-ass man. I don't serve me a glass of soda water.
There's only so much Diet Coke I can drink in one night.
Again, grown-ass man.
That's me. I'm a grown-ass man. So, the gin, we're going to try that in a second.
Indeed.
All right, actually, let me backtrack. We talked about you creating this for yourself. At what point did you think, yeah, I got a business here? I could take this to market.
Yeah, it wasn't the plan at all. I made it for myself because I wanted something that had that heat, and that it was a fun challenge. And when I had something that was like, by today's standards, totally... Can I swear here?
It's a podcast.
Totally fucking awful. But, it was better than soda water. I shared it with my best friend, who's now one of the partners in Ritual, who is a natural foods wizard and an entrepreneur in that space. And he just tasted it, he's like, that's a business. People need this.
Yeah. And
the thing is, it resonated because I had needed it. Like, I went in and created it because it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it. A thing that let you feel like you were enjoying those same elements. The craft of making a drink, right? That's...
I get it.
I'm passionate about that.
Yeah, I told a lot of people about Ritual and told them that I was interviewing you tonight. One thing that came back a lot was that the push for NA-type cocktails, or beer, very much in line with millennial thinking. Millennials are really down with this idea of zero proof, non-alcohol. I find that very interesting. Like, there's a whole generation that is fully on board with this.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm not a millennial, so I find it fascinating. I think a lot of it, honestly, is the tip of the spear, though. I think they're the early adopters.
Yeah, that's it.
I think, in truth, it's not that alcohol is going away. I mean, Jesus, I hope not. Like, that is the last thing I want.
You're an author. That's fuel. You need that.
Yeah. But I do think there is a movement towards more just conscious choice, conscious consumption, and wanting that choice to not suck.
Yeah.
So I think the millennial tendency to not drink, it's not the tendency I grew up with, but I think what it is for the larger market is they were ahead of everybody. That's a lifestyle that fits with the millennials. I really think the true market is me, mm-hmm. is you, is people. I don't know if you have kids. I've got a 7-year-old daughter. How old are yours?
18 and 13.
18 and 13, right? So you're still in the mix, right? You gotta get up with them and take them to school and hang out and wrestle with them and play, and you got morning meetings, and to me that's the thing.
You need your faculties.
You need your faculties, but I don't want to. none of us want to give up that sense of adventure and life, and that little whiff at the end of the night where it's like, I don't want to be responsible and go to bed.
Right.
But I also don't want to drink club soda, and I also don't want to hurt tomorrow.
That's it.
And so it's, to me, that's a big way that it's useful. Another way, I tell you, the split base cocktail, a low ABV cocktail. So you mix Ritual with traditional spirits.
Interesting.
So you take something like...
And do they mesh?
Beautifully. Gorgeously. What you do is a cocktail like an aviation, right? Mm-hmm. Lightweight in spirits, but there are other spirits in it. Gin is the foundation of an aviation. You replace it with our gin, it's alcoholic, sorta. It's got calories.
It's like going to Starbucks and asking for a half decaf cappuccino.
That's, you know what? Thank you.
Just put it in coffee terms. Now, can I chew on a bubblegum cigar as I drink the whiskey?
I don't see why fucking not. You know? If you'd like to line up some powdered sugar and snort it, knock yourself out.
Well, let's try the gin. We have a fresh bottle here, which, by the way, I mean, this is all part of the experience, right? The packaging. It just looks cool.
Thank you. That's, creative's my end, so thanks.
I love it. It looks really cool. I don't have nails. Is this easy to get off?
Grab it and tug upwards. That sounds
not
like a euphemism.
Not the first person to say that in my car.
That's where most of them taped. There you go.
Oh.
What do you think of the nose?
Okay. Gin.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
500 iterations.
So am I pouring basically the equivalent of a shot here?
Yeah. Shot a bit more. There you go. I should do it with limes, but they were in the garage, and it's cold in Chicago.
It is.
So we have frozen limes.
Look at this. Gin and tonics, G&Ts in the car.
Usually a summer drink, but what are you going to do?
I used to have a car dealership as a sponsor of the podcast. I could just picture them having a heart attack.
Losing your sponsorship on the...
We're just watching the money fly out of my bank account. All right. Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Thanks
for having me.
Truly my pleasure. This is so cool. Damn it.
500 iterations make good.
That's really interesting.
Does it strike you as right?
Tastes like a gin and tonic. That's insane.
The gin has no calories at all. No alcohol, no calories.
Dude.
So
this is really good.
Right? Thank you. And I love alcohol. I'm not trying to get rid of it, but another tool in the kit.
Yeah, so you're at a party this summer, you're drinking gin and tonics all night. Time to change out at the end.
The classic professional drinker's wisdom is you have a cocktail and then a glass of water and then a cocktail. That's like the classic. What if you had a cocktail and then a ritual and then a cocktail?
Yeah. All right, what's the bite? Same kind of concept for the bite on this?
Yep, the heat system is very similar, but the gin is aimed at being really herbaceous and refreshing. There's notes of
you're right,
cucumber and lime. Yeah, it really tops it. Fresh herbs, basil, parsley. It's all natural botanicals. Everything in it is distilled at the peak of its season and very carefully combined.
This is great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
So if you're just joining us, that's Marcus. He's one of the people behind Ritual Zero Proof. We just drank Zero Proof whiskey, Old Fashions. We are now drinking Zero Proof gin and tonics. These are outstanding.
Thank you.
This is so much fun.
I'm having a ball. Honestly, the only thing that's going to make this better is if the police come up, and I really hope they do.
I'm surprised. I've done 300-plus episodes of this podcast. Never once. I mean, I've had bands play in the middle of busy streets inside the car. No one bats an eye. Like, I'm sitting here with a glass of what looks to be a gin and tonic. I've got a bottle, even though it's tonic water, against the...
I slipped out here on the ice with 2 bottles and 4 open glasses. And...
Yeah, it looked like you were entertaining a large group when you walked out of there. This is really cool. So we talked briefly about how things have accelerated for you. I mean, you've already got an investment from, is it Diageo?
It is. Diageo, which is the world's largest distiller, has taken a minority stake in the business, but in a very significant way, which is great because this thing, the spirit alternatives, it's not a trend. It's a movement. People want these choices. They want another tool in their kit. And we are in the fortunate position of being the leaders in American-made spirit alternatives. There's no one else that does what we do. And now...
It was new to me. When I saw it on Bespoke, it was new to me.
In a year, there are going to be a lot of other companies out there doing it. But
if something catches fire like this, I mean, look at White Claw. How many seltzer alternatives are there?
Exactly. And fuck White Claw, by the way.
Fair. So does the infusion from Diageo, what does that enable you to do? Does it enable you to spread your marketing reach, your distribution, allow you to kind of develop in your non-alcoholic lab?
It's really mostly about reach. We literally cannot make this fast enough for demand. We have, our pain point from the beginning has been having enough product.
Yeah, sure.
We are just now, literally in the last day or two, accepted into all the Total Wine stores in America, which is 200 plus stores, national footprint. They're ordering a very significant order. So what it lets us do is spread out and get everywhere.
That's great.
It's pretty exciting.
So I'll bounce around a little bit. You are a celebrated author. You have your feet in Hollywood. I've got to think you have no spare time to give right now. Like the speed at which Ritual's taken off has got to put you in a spot where you're like, oh crap, how do I get all this done?
Well, I've always hated sleeping.
Perfect. You're good.
I've just always hated sleeping. This whole notion that I got to give up a third of my life, fuck off. So no, it's been exciting, and they feed each other. Honestly, it's worked really nicely in that way. I told you I like making things.
Fair. And if you don't really care about losing sleep, you're good.
Would genuinely prefer not to. That would be my chosen superpower. You can have flight. I don't sleep.
So when I've seen enough Shark Tanks to fake my way through this conversation, but when you launch a business plan, you kind of have like a 5-year plan, and you kind of have projections of where things are going. Where do you think this is going to be in 5 years?
Yeah, well, the funny thing with this business, it's a joke that we make all the time, is the acceleration is so great. The demand for this, the demand, but more than that, more importantly, I think, just as a word guy, the underlying desire for another option is so great that we can barely keep up, and our plans change not just on the weekly, but kind of on a daily basis.
You got to be nimble, as they say.
We have to be very nimble on a corporate level, but where I think it's going overall, this stuff is not. It's not a fad. It's not a trend. The same way that veggie burgers weren't, that Greek yogurt wasn't, that these things that there was a time when it was a weird novelty, and then now all of a sudden we can't imagine life without it. And
I would happily drink this on the regular.
Thank you. I recommend it. Easily found at Binny's, Total Wine, Amazon.
Well, that's just it too. I mean, I know there are craft breweries in and around the Chicago DMA that have been dying to get into Binny's. It's a hard nut to crack. You got right in.
We did, and our goal was to go in on a very calculated level, because we knew this was a new product, so we thought we'd go very small. The plan was to start in 3 stores. Before it happened, it was 4 stores, then it was 6 stores, then we were on shelves doing demos, and it was 10 stores, then 12 stores. And this really isn't us muscling. That's what I mean when I say the underlying desire. It's demand is a marketing term. I'm talking about desire. People want this.
Will you stay in Chicago?
Me personally, the brand. The brand will. We are Chicago born and bred.
See, that's all I want to hear.
Yeah, no, are you kidding? The brand's not going anywhere.
What about Marcus?
I'm not going anywhere.
All right, good.
Well, the winters are, getting a little wearisome. It's possible I've
lived here my entire life. You came from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I've lived here my entire life. I got to the point of absolute winter fatigue, maybe beginning of December this year. For the first time in my life, I don't know what took me so long, I bought a snowblower. I finally bit the bullet. Changed my perspective on everything.
So you actually had shoveling fatigue.
Well, yeah, and I lived on I live on a corner, so every time it snowed, I'd have to shovel front of house, down the street to the alley, in front of the garage to the back door, and sometimes I would shovel first thing in the morning on those bad snow days, and by the time I got home, it looked like nothing had ever happened. Yeah, no,
that's horrifying.
Yeah, no. So winters can take their
the winters. Yeah, the winters do. The winters do. I live in Roscoe Village, so I think if I got a snowblower, I'd have to get a snowblowing route and go door to door and
make a little extra cash.
Just show up,
put it in the till for ritual. Let's talk a little bit about your career as an author. It seems like you can't say your name without mentioning some sort of Hollywood connection these days. The most recent one I saw was with Will Smith, your most recent book.
Yeah. That's actually a really fun one because it's one book before the last, or one that was the series. It's the Brilliance Trilogy. So the first of the Brilliance Trilogy came out in around 2014. And it was very fortunate. It went at auction. Legendary bought it, Legendary Pictures. Mm-hmm. Will Smith was attached. It was happening. We were 3 weeks from shooting. They had massive budget against it. They were spending on everything that goes into making a film 3 weeks before it starts shooting, and everything explodes between personality conflicts and schedules and, I don't know, things I wasn't part of. The writer's the last guy on the list. So that was 2015 or so. Spin back around, the book comes up again, is no longer owned by the studio. Will Smith is still interested years in. So he came back.
He's a believer.
He apparently really loves the thing, sees the possibility. So, yeah, Will Smith is signed on to do it with Paramount. We're finalizing details now, but it's pretty exciting.
And it makes sense. I mean, I think that's what Hollywood wants. They want a well-written, dependable franchise. And if you deliver a trilogy, that's money in the bank for Hollywood. That's a no-brainer.
Honestly, you said well-written, and I zoned out. I was just happy there.
And then, it's funny. I mentioned I was going to be interviewing you. A lot of people mention, oh my God, The Blade itself. I love that book. One person said it's one of my top 5 books.
Really?
Ever. Yeah.
Wow.
It's fun to read that. What happened with that? Affleck got involved?
Yeah. Early on, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's company bought the rights to it. There was a screenplay put against it. That one, nothing in particular happened with. I have long suspected with, all love Ben, no problem. I kind of think he bought it because he was making The Town and he didn't want competition. Which, if so, that's a fucking chess move.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
How upset can I be? That's a baller move.
It's a total baller move. So, as you write, I'm sure it's not hard, but I should ask, is it hard to kind of put away any consideration like, oh, this is something that would totally connect with Hollywood? This could be a TV show. Is it hard to keep that purity of creativity?
Well, I'd argue that I don't want to keep that purity of creativity, but nor do I want to write to this notion of this will make it a Hollywood blockbuster. Mm-hmm. First of all, because that usually just makes a steaming pile.
Right.
But we live in an era where more than ever, writing is actually starting to be valued in these other arenas, especially in television, but that's trickling up to movies. And I grew up on movies. I'm not anti-movie. I couldn't write a book to be made into a movie, but when I write a scene, one of the many criteria is, would this look cool? But this partly look cool on screen. It's also look cool in my brain, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you think cinematically.
We think cinematically. Mm-hmm. Movies have informed our fantasies and vice versa in such a way that, of course, we think about would it look cool, and we should think about that. That's why no one has made a good hacker movie, right? There's no good movie about the actual business of hacking. There's hackers who are somehow also, Chris Hemsworth. But like an actual hacker, it's not cinematically very interesting.
Although I'm convinced there's a book called American Kingpin about the guy who created the Silk Road, the Amazon for drugs. I'm convinced they make that into a movie. It's a slam dunk.
You know what? I read the Wired magazine article that the writer of that wrote as a beginning, and I would agree that was a fascinating story. It's not hacking. It's him. It's his moral story from like surfer happy dude to ordering murder.
Yeah, it's putting out hits on people. True, not hacking, but it's still a dude, a geeky guy in front of a computer.
It's a geeky guy near a computer. He's putting hits out on people
through the computer. Sending messages.
Not in the movie. By the time the movie comes around,
that's right. What's your writing ritual? Do you force yourself to write every day? Do you have like I've got to write?
I used to, and I still recommend it to any aspiring writer. The best thing is to set yourself for me, it was a word count goal. Hours would do, but it's better to have it tied to something created. And then you should feel real bad when you miss it. Like that self-hatred is part of the creative process. You have to,
because no one's going to push you to do it other than yourself.
Oh. No, and a book is 300 to 500 to 800 pages, and they are all blank when you start. And if you're lucky, after you can sell the first one and you'll have a deadline, but that's all it is a deadline, and that just means they won't give you any money if you don't meet it, right? It doesn't mean anybody's going to come in and help you. So beating yourself up if you don't deliver is an important part of the artistic process. It's unpopular to say it. I'm supposed to be all
like makes sense.
Muse and lovey, but it's a job, man. Show up and do your job.
You have to be disciplined.
I have a line that's one of my favorites, which is like, plumbers don't get plumber's block. Like, they show up and they do their job.
Exactly.
So that's now I'm 10 books in. I just recently finished my 10th. I don't hold to the same rituals I did when I started because I've earned it. Because I know how to do it now, and so I don't beat myself up if I don't get a daily word count. But it's always the thing with writing a book, honestly, is it takes at least a year for me, and it's in your head the entire time. And you're always viewing life through that filter, and you're thinking about it, and it's in your dreams. And as long as you were stoking those creative fires genuinely, like you would a campfire, and just keeping it burning and aiming at intensity, and then putting it on the page, it can't just be daydreams. For me, at this point, that means I'm doing okay.
Do you miss doing TV?
No.
Really?
No. TV was a surprise to me. I never had an aspiration for it. What I miss about TV, two things. Number one, the crew I worked with is awesome. Just wonderful people.
And this was Travel Channel.
This was the Travel Channel, but we sold it to the Travel Channel. So it was the people that actually made the thing. Yeah. And then it was a brief-lived one-season show called Hidden City, where I explored the central crimes of a city that helped define its character, was the conceit. And as part of that conceit, I got to do just crazy shit. And I missed the crazy shit. That's all. Yeah. Honestly, that's it. It was like, so I was pepper sprayed, and I was attacked by dogs, and I flew a plane, and I went diving for pirate treasure, and it's like, how would I not miss these things?
How would you not? But the pepper spray, that's missable.
The pepper spray was, it was very intense. The pepper spray also I did for free. The pepper spray was part of the sizzle reel to sell the show.
Oh my God.
And it was only as my head snapped back and the pain started that it really broke through my brain that this was just like a hobbyist thing at this point. Yeah, that was bad. I don't recommend it.
All right, so as we finish our gin and tonics, Ritual Zero Proof, thank you, by the way. I do want to mention Ritual. You can find it if you're watching in Chicago. If you're listening in Chicago, we mentioned it's at Binny's.
It's at Binny's.
Look for it, order it, or get it through Bespoke Box, like I mentioned. Have it delivered to your home.
Yep. Amazon.com, ritualzeroproof.com.
Oh, yeah, of course you can do it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's not alcohol.
That's, of course, that makes perfect sense.
I know, we had that revelation over and over. It's like, you can't ship alcohol.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this. And to your point, this was a niche that had been unserved.
I really want to make clear, like, it's not about taking it away. It's just about adding more.
Yeah.
It's not about having less. It's about having everything.
When you're at that family dinner when you're at Thanksgiving and everyone's pretty much peaked, settle down, pour yourself a Ritual Zero Proof whiskey.
There you go.
Old-fashioned. Let the family take care of itself.
Pour a half and half. When that uncle is starting to really annoy you, swap his whiskey for our whiskey.
That's it. It's like that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where he swaps out the...
Yes.
All right, Marcus, thank you for doing this.
Hey, man, this was fun. This was really
I'm
fun.
sorry the police never came.
I am also sorry about that. I actually sort of thought about crank dialing 911, but
here's the good
risk
news.
return.
They're probably fighting real crime and not wasting their time with small-time thugs like us. And I say thug as I'm wearing a crew neck powder blue sweater.
Yeah, and I'm chilling non-alcohol alcohol.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Carl and Carne is sponsored this week by C&H Financial Services. That's Marcus by Ritual. Read his books on Amazon. Are you? Before I finish, where do you stand on audiobooks?
Oh, I love audiobooks.
I love audiobooks.
Oh yeah, and they've exploded too. I mean, they used to be this small segment of the market. They're wonderful. I love audiobooks.
Me too. Okay, there's my answer. All right, thank you for watching.